so you are
Fine.
late.
And we are live.
Yes, I'm late, and we're live.
And we're live.
Are we? Oops.
Yeah, we're live now.
You saying we're live? Oops.
I want to apologize for the for the lateness. I was running across the river, across the bridge to the Rogue Money offices we go in order to get on this broadcast with the Dex, the Algocapitalist, the trader formerly known as the Vulcan. And so now I'm here. I don't want to waste any more time. So Dex, what's going on, buddy?
Actually, we're all done. You missed it.
Oh, the show's over?
The show's over, man.
Damn, what you talk about?
We got it in. No, actually, we're talking about all nonsense that's been happening with your boy in office, with your peoples.
What are you talking about? I've been too busy paying attention to the Cleveland guy who shot himself.
You know, I saw some stuff on that. I didn't get a chance to really get into that and see what's going on. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. To me, it's anything to get people distracted and get their minds off what's happening.
How are you able to stream on Facebook and nobody could find you?
Yeah, you know, I still don't understand that technology because, like, I'll see some of the videos and I go and I try to find stuff and I can't find it. I didn't even know you could even stream on Facebook. I'm behind the times.
It's the new thing. You can stream on Facebook now. But
Dex, we're streaming on Facebook right now, so don't do anything crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh brother.
Yeah. We gotta watch out for that. We gotta watch our P's and Q's here. But that being said, man, let's get into the markets, man. Like what's going on?
Well, we're having market mayhem. Everyone is getting their shorts in a bunch over this French election thing coming up this week.
Yeah.
G7 and all this stuff going on. It's just more talk, more fear mongering of doom and gloom. But there's some actual things to watch on this one. There's some things behind this one. Okay, let me tell you what I mean. Last night I did the end of day report, and we went over the market, breaking it down into sectors and looking at what was happening. You can't ignore the fact that the bonds have been on fire. I warned everyone about this.
What do you mean? Fire as in what? Is it bad or good?
Bond prices are through the roof. Yields are crashing through the floor. Wow. Everyone was talking about all these Fed rate hikes coming, and it's the end of the economy as you know it. And I kept saying they're not going to raise rates. It was a political thing. They had to do some political grandstanding. They had to pay back some favors, so they had to raise rates to make things look a certain way. So they actually did it. They bit the bullet. They raised those rates one time.
Yeah.
And that was it. And look at the result from one Fed hike. One rate hike. Look at the result. We were knocking at the door, ready to run to Dow 22,000, and now we've dropped below Dow 20,500.
Mm-hmm.
Since then as well, bonds have rallied from 146-ish up now today to 155. We're up 1 in 18 seconds today. Huge rally in the bond market right now. So is that telling you that another rate hike's coming? No time soon, baby. You would need to get back down to where we were, that 146 handle, to even make that even look remotely possible.
Oh, why can't they just go ahead and do a rate hike, like another 0.25%? It's not going to do any harm.
Yeah, I know, right?
The whole damn thing is rigged. I mean, they could do a rate hike at 1%. It's all psychological to begin with.
Well, it had damage this time, though. Again, the Dow has dropped from getting ready to hit Dow 22,000 down to Dow 20,000.
Do you think that that's basically getting itself set up for a slingshot move, get the weak hands off?
Yep.
And then now we're going to get on that trajectory to Dow 22, onward to Dow 29 to infinity.
You learn very quickly. Yes, sir. How do I know this? Where's my proof? Where's my evidence? Well, I know you're going to look at the Dow and say, the Dow's down 120 points. That's nothing. All right? That's nothing. The NASDAQ is still holding steady. at the high 5,300 level to the 5,400 level. And I'm talking about the NASDAQ 100. As long as the NASDAQ 100 is expensive like this, the market is not going anywhere. Remember what I also said before we broke 5,000? I said 5,000 is going to be the new floor. Well, what has happened? 5,000 is the new floor. And it's not changing anytime soon. This is what we got. This is the new normal. We have not seen the highs in the stock market. We have not seen the highs in the precious metals. As we speak, gold is at $1,292.90. I do believe several weeks ago, you had me on your show, and I said the trajectory for gold is what? 1,300. Have we not hit that? Here we are. We're smiling here at 1,300. 1,300 is just the first initial profit target. The next one's 1,350, and then 1,400. But guess what happens along the way there? Long period of consolidation. Once we close above 1,300, need to close above 1,300 2, preferably 3 weeks in a row. If we can do that, then 1,400 is wide open. But after we hit the 1,400, we consolidate for a very long time. And that's going to be because the Fed is going to come in and do what they do, smash and grab. And that's what's been happening. So welcome to the new normal. Also, we've been catching mad bids in the Illuminati sector.
The Illuminati sector? Which one is that?
The Illuminati sector of the stock market. I know. What is that? A lot of people haven't heard of it, not used to it. I know you're not. That's why you should come over to pulsewavetrading.com and learn more about it. The Illuminati sector is part of the New World Order system. All right. It's made up of the military industrial complex, the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, and the race for natural resources.
I like that, dude. You should call that the Illuminati Index.
I know, right? That's exactly what it is.
Brilliant. Wow. Okay. What's going on over there?
Everything. Literally, all you have to do is watch. Everything within that sector is up. If I can quote from the late great show on TV called Martin.
Yeah.
Hot comb stocks are way up. For those of you who remember that episode.
Hot comb stocks.
That's right. The Illuminati New World Order stocks are way up.
Wow.
There's not one of those sectors that's flattering. I also gave you guys a hint several weeks ago, for those that recall. I told you to watch ticker symbol HACK, which is part of this New World Order index, if you will. And it has been hovering around this $28 handle, which means we are in trouble. That means some type of cyber threat, whether it be a false flag, whether it be a government operation or a joint government venture.
Yeah.
It's coming. Whether we like it or want it or not, a cyber situation is coming.
Got it. Okay, so the what index is that again? The hack index? The hack. That's what it's called.
Hack ETF. Yes, that is the cybersecurity ETF.
So that is up.
Yep.
Interesting.
You want to watch that, because if it breaks $30, that means an attack is imminent.
Got it. Okay.
And that's not fear-mongering. That's facts.
All right, so let's look at this for a second. We have the Illuminati index is going crazy.
Yep.
Energy stocks, the prison industrial stocks, pharmaceutical stocks, biotech stocks.
Yep.
Defense industry stocks. They're all going crazy.
It's all in there. Yep.
And then you have the hack ETF, which is basically what happens right before a hack attack or cyber attack. That's also going nuts.
Yes. It's
what is that?
Strong. And it should not be if everything was peaches and cream. But because things are not peaches and cream, you need to watch it. In addition to that, may I add, I did mention that everything in that sector is strong. Let me give you an idea of how strong I'm talking. In your prison industrial complex, aka your FEMA camp index, if you take a look at ticker symbol CXW, we have rallied from $12.99 up to over $33.28 currently. If that doesn't make people afraid, you should be. Why is that so? Private prisons? Again,
and where's gold and silver at with this as well? Especially
gold is just got higher. We're now at 1293.10.
Yeah, interesting. We're hitting the magic 1300 while all this is happening as well.
Yes,
there's definitely some signaling going on here, my man. Definitely some signaling. There's some communication going on.
And even though the natural gas has pulled back from around $3.30, $3.30, we're at $3.14 right now. We hit a low of $3.11. Still above that $3 mark. I do remember there was someone on your show calling for a race up to that $3.30 mark. I do believe that. Wonder who that was. Another thing that your listeners should be quite aware of.
Would that be the Algocapitalist?
Yeah, I heard of that guy. It could be. We have to look into that. I did tell you too that there were several algo shifts in the global markets, several of them. And these algorithmic shifts have taken place. I think the last one was late last week? Yeah, sometime last week. And it was an intraday shift, and things just went bananas. The guys in the trading room was noticing it. Things just didn't look right. They were weird. Well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of the 3x ETFs, the 3x ETFs, are broken. They just don't work. They're not working right. They're not pricing correctly, and they're not moving with the overall indexes. So like your JNUG and JDST, they're really struggling. So you don't really have too much choice. You just have to have a long only strategy with the GDXJ, because I don't think they're going to let you short the GDXJ outright. So you just wait for your entry point when the miners get ready to run. You do have an option on the GDX though. You can just go with the Nugget or the Dust at this point. But what's about to happen, I'm sticking to this. I warned everybody. They're going to keep beating these miners down like they are, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to look for shares and you won't be able to find them. Case in point, JNUG. There was an article the other day, someone posted in the trading room saying that they're not issuing any more shares. You would think that would make the price of something, pretty much collapse like NAC or dry ships. But no, quite the opposite. What you should take from that is if they're not issuing any more shares, those of you who have them, you better hold on to them, because you're not going to be able to find any sellers when this thing takes off. You're gonna watch the stock go from the $5-6 handle up to $50 and $80 and $90 handle right before your eyes, and there will be nothing you can do about it. You'll be looking for selling, and no one will be there to sell to you. I've seen it happen before. It happened in the bond market when the Fed first started this whole bond market propping up. There was a point in time where even in the TLT, I couldn't even trade the thing. It wouldn't even let me buy shares in it. And there was a time too where shorting was also off limits. It was restricted. It wouldn't let you short it either. And TBT, which is the inverse ETF, doesn't even work half the time like it should. It's better just to short something outright if you can. So a lot of weirdness has happened in the past, and I'm just letting people know that has not changed. We're in a new algorithmic shift now. So what this means is you're going to start to see the markets move the opposite from what you're used to. You'll see things float for no reason, like today. The US dollar got hit today. And guess what? You saw a raid in gold to follow suit with that. So the dollar was down and so was gold. How is that supposed to happen?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Right.
But that's what happened. So if anything, because remember, gold is a currency and it's also a commodity. If the dollar is down, it should help the price of gold to rally. Well, gold at some point this morning got down to $12.80. So $1,280, $1,280 60 cents. Now we're at $12.92.90. So weirdness is happening. And the reason why this is happening, because that's the next logical question, why is all this happening? It's happening because there has been a mad push to get all of the banking processes aligned with the central banks. The central banks have been very busy to get everyone acclimated and online with the central bank in every way. They don't want separate entities. That's why they're pushing behind the scenes to create their own Bitcoin-esque environment, because they like the Bitcoin. They just hate that they can't control it.
Right.
So they're going to make their own.
Right.
And make it so that everyone has to be on this new network, this new system. So that's what they're doing behind the scenes. That's where all these meetings are coming up for. They're going to allow some of these sovereign nations to go belly up so that they can introduce this new platform. All right. So that's part of the plan too. So, now here's the unintended consequences of this. The unintended consequences of this is that all the global markets now are literally connected, not just connected because we're all invested in each other's products and things like that, import, export. No, it's deeper than that. It's unintended consequences that everyone is now physically connected by mainframes, by software programs that utilize the same thing. That's why it's possible for right now, if the Dow were to drop 500 points, you would see this huge tidal wave across the planet. It's not just, oh, the Dow's down 500 in America. Should we be shorting the Hang Seng? Yeah, why not? No, it's not like that anymore. It's an automatic thing, because now all the Wall Street firms, when I say Wall Street, I mean global Wall Street now. Everyone is connected using the same programs, the same people that built Goldman Sachs's platform. It's the same people that are being hired to build JP Morgan's, who are the same people being hired to build ABC banks protocols and mainframes over in London, who is the same people that's building the infrastructure for the high frequency traders over in China. So everyone is being connected on the same type of networks.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a run or a raid on something, everyone's going to go up or down together simultaneously.
Got it.
Yep. So I'm just saying that's an unintended consequence. Now they're aware of this and they don't care. All right? They don't care. So what is going to happen as a result of this, here's the good news. What I've just given you is not bad news, it's good news.
Yeah.
Now is the only time that I have been able to see in all of my years of research and looking back even to 1929, this is going to be the easiest time ever to make money and to take advantage of and take your life into your own hands, your financial life into your own hands. It's going to be the easiest time than ever before. I believe that the markets will create new multimillionaires more than they did back in the 1990s with the whole internet craze. And the reason being is because of the algo shifts. These algo shifts are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Predictable.
Yeah.
That it is laughable now. It is literally laughable. I have people in the chat right now from the trading room that can attest to what I'm saying. How many times have you seen the post-wave price triggers, the weekly post-wave price triggers, be the high or low of the day? I can't make this stuff up. And our sheets come out way ahead of the market movements. All right? I have shared on your show before when I literally got kicked out of the cotton pits because of me doing this, using these techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it's easier to do it now than it was for me back then, when all I had was literally a calculator and a pad and a pen, and I was doing everything by hand. So what I'm trying to say is that it's easier now because everyone's using the same type of programs. Back then, it was pretty much all about just technical analysis and chart reading. And the reason why some things worked is because it was like self-fulfilling prophecies. If everyone's using MACD and using the same type of parameters for a MACD, then said people who are on a particular side of the trade using that MACD are going to come out profitable. Everyone else will not. Well, it's the same type or line of thinking now, except for it's being done with computer programs and algorithms and mathematical equations, and that's what's linking everything together. That's why you have days like today where you see weirdness. All right, you see they make it look like there's a flight to quality, that money's pouring into bonds, money's pouring into gold. When in all actuality, the Fed is the only one dealing with those bonds. Everyone else is fully invested in Wall Street. And even though the market is ebbing and flowing, Dow's down 100 points, that's nothing. Anyone who has traded for any length of time knows that the Dow has a plus or minus 50-point reading on it at any point in time, and it means nothing. Dow up 50, down 50 is irrelevant. Well, that range has been expanded now. That was the range in the early 2000s. That range now has changed to plus or minus 100, where the market has got so frothy now where it can absorb plus or minus 100. So seeing the Dow down or up 100 points is nothing anymore. It's nothing. It's noise. Because it could be down 118 at this moment and then be up 118 in 5 minutes from now. It means nothing. Yeah. Also, the S&P 500 has a plus or minus 10 points on it, already kicked in. So anything plus or minus 10 points is noise. It means nothing. Same thing with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's range has been expanded to 30 points. All right, so you got plus or minus 30 points on the NASDAQ 100. Noise, means nothing. Everything is algorithms. The markets tend to float in mid-air, it seems. And you think that there's something going on, and it's not. The crude oil is the same price it was 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago.
Right.
Nothing has changed. It's just noise. It's getting people used to being glued to the screen, and then they throw in all this other quote unquote fake news to manipulate the emotional impact of things, because they don't want you really looking too deeply at things. They just want you to be entertained. So all I'm saying is this is the easiest time to invest or trade in the markets than it's ever been. So I'm just encouraging people and letting them know that, yes, the markets are rigged. Yes, the markets have always been rigged. And yes, they're more predictable now than they've ever been because of all the rigging. Yeah. So there that is. So yes, there are a lot of things on the horizon. I want to say to you guys to do not be afraid of World War III and stuff like that. And the reason being, I know a lot of people, we all watch the same stuff, and you will notice that there's been predictions, of World War III coming this year and stuff like that. And the thing that people are afraid of now is World War III breaking out sometime this year under Donald Trump's reign as president. People are concerned about a whole host of things, economic Armageddon. And it's not going to go down the way people are thinking. That's what I'm trying to let people see. There's no economic Armageddon coming. The only economic turmoil that you see is self-induced by the central banks to push forward this agenda of having everyone that is holding out to be a part of this new electronic database. That's why they've been pushing for it.
I'm going to disappear.
That's gonna be a lot of people. But here's the thing, though, you're not even gonna have to do that, Because yes, there's going to be some carnage along the way. There's a lot of people that's suffering right now. It's going to be a lot of job losses coming in the future. But that is also a blessing in disguise, because I've always taught that your paycheck does not dictate your income.
Correct.
All right, it does not determine your income, and you have the opportunity now to add to that income by learning to invest and trade in these financial markets. So there should be no reason for people to, lose their good paying jobs and be like, oh no, what am I going to do? I can't eat, when you have opportunity that's been given to you. That's the difference between the 90s and now. Back in the 90s, people grabbed hold of opportunity. You had people that went to work at Microsoft right out of high school, and before they knew it, 6 months in the job, they became multimillionaires because of their stock options. There was a time where people would be like, man, forget a salary. I don't need a salary. Just give me some stock options.
Yep.
There were people who went to work for startups with no salary, but got a plethora of stock options.
Yeah,
and made millions.
Those guys were the sharks. They understand the value. I mean, I've done that so many times, even in my own personal life, where I says, hey, you know what? I didn't need a paycheck because I knew what the payout was going to be. I just did it because you got to get into the, well, here's the deal. You got to get into the mindset of a hustler. You got to get into the mindset of somebody who's going to rise and grind it out and make things happen. If you're going to be passive with anything in your life, you're sitting there waiting for something to happen, nothing is going to happen to you. You will not improve. Okay, I look at the world as it is a tooth and nail affair. That is what the world is all about. It's a tooth and nail affair. Every day I get up, I say to myself, how am I going to stay one step ahead of these idiots? I'm talking about the globalists. How am I going to stay one step ahead of all their plans, all their regulations, all their ways that they're trying to control and tax the hell out of us? How can I get more creative ideas? How can I build more businesses? How can I create more opportunities for myself, for those around me, anybody that I do business with? Why? Because you have to. You have to. I don't partake to this, let me sit idly and wait for things to happen kind of idea, man. You got to grind. And I said this so many times, Dex, you and I talked about it. Why are you going to go work a friggin' part-time job? Take the desk. There are people making their careers out of day trading, their own stuff.
Exactly. I could tell you numerous stories of people who got their seed money to start their businesses through investing.
Yeah, man.
So the thing is, though, people don't understand. So I'm going to have to break this down. Just like someone wrote in the chat room, they say that the market, the comment I made about the market being rigged, and it's easier now to make money in the market because it's rigged. Now, I did go into a long soliloquy breaking that down of what that meant, so I don't have to go back over that again. But here's the thing. I know people to this day who, excuse me, took a stack of money, went to Las Vegas, and made a fortune. Now, they went to Las Vegas knowing that the house always wins in the long run. They knew that it is a rigged game. They know that slots machines and all that, blackjack, all of it is a rigged game. However, they figured out a system of counting cards at the blackjack table. And before people could catch on to them there, they would leave with a large share of profits, counting cards. Well, now it's impossible to do that today because they've gotten hip to you. They use several decks of cards now instead of one deck of cards. So things have changed over the last several decades. It's not the same like it used to be. But that's just a great example of how you take something that is rigged, knowing that it's rigged, and then you know the game, and then you go in there and you take advantage of it. Who wouldn't do that? If you knew the approach to your lottery system in your state, and you knew how the system decides what numbers are going to be the winning numbers, would you not be an idiot for not taking advantage of that?
Yeah, exactly.
So just because something is rigged doesn't mean that it can't be figured out, or it doesn't mean that you can't profit from it.
Exactly. People's own fictitious bondage that they hold on to with this thing called ethics, okay, is one of the things that limit them. And what I mean by that is this. You got to be, when it comes to this system, I'm not saying break laws, but I recommend breaking all the rules. This system that we're living in is completely inequitable. It is unfair. It is designed to rob you. I've made mention of this a billion times. In 150 years of banking, the only thing that the banks have given you is a debit card and an ATM machine. That's it.
Go.
But in that 150 years, how many instruments, how many policies, how many changes in rules and regulations have they done to ensure that they rob, rape, and pillage you? Okay, that ensure that your money is no longer your money. As soon as you deposit it, you're just become an unsecured lender. You're the last guy to ever, if ever, you will ever get paid. How many times have they done that? Okay, so you think this is an equitable system? It's fair? No, it's bullshit. And we all know it's bullshit.
Exactly.
The point is people need to grow a backbone, grow a pair, and go out and understand, you need to beat the system. Like one of the things that I deal with the guys over at My Freedom Now, we do the credit repair. And the first thing people are like, well, you mean if I don't pay my Visa MasterCard, like, well, what are they going to do? I'm like, listen, here's the deal. Visa MasterCard, they're not sitting there be like, we wonder if Bob is going to send his check in this month to pay us. I don't know how we're going to keep the lights on. You got to understand, folks, the system's so jacked up. They have insurance. As soon as first of all, there's no money changing hands. Okay, the way it works, there's no money changing hands. They utilize your social security number, which has a monetary value. They create the money out of thin air and lend it back to you. It's your friggin' money. Then they hit you with penalties and interest if you don't pay on time. Okay, then they take insurance against you, kind of like a credit default swap. So when you don't pay and it's charged off, they get paid. So everybody's getting paid except you. And here you are wondering, you're worried about an equitable system? Screw the equity. Screw the ethics.
Look,
make freaking money.
And then we kill whistleblowers in this country. We prosecute whistleblowers.
I don't see Snowden coming back.
No, I mean, here you go. Hey, I'm on your show today, and have been on your show numerous times, sharing these Wall Street secrets with people, and I still get flack for it because I exposed an unjust system and a way that people can profit from it. People can take from that what they will. That was my job.
Absolutely.
I worked in derivatives. I created these algorithms. That's what I got paid to do. That was my job. How do you think I know what they're doing?
Right.
Exactly. How else will I know?
Right.
I know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
All right. I created a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
The bottom line is I'm here to tell people and to show them how it can be done. I don't just tell you, I show you, man. I come out with the weekly post-wave price triggers at postwavetrading.com for a reason, so that everyone can have the same opportunity to take back what the banks have taken from you, which you just so eloquently broke down. Basically, is your life. They've taken your soul.
And people are happy with that. They think, well, my God, I got a collection. Look, I deal with pros who can beat the living snot out of collect. I mean, one of my mentors is a guy who's beaten the bar. He's beat the snot out of the bar. Like he walks into a room, freaking, attorneys for major banks go running out of the back door because they're scared of this guy. I mean, come on. Look, we all know. The reality of it all is this. Okay, there's two sets of rules. Rules for them, the top 0.01%, and the rules for the rest of us. Okay, but we also know that there's loopholes. Take advantage of it. Stop being so damn fearful. If you're going to be fearful, you won't
believe. It's belief, man. They don't believe, V.
See, that's the problem.
It comes down to belief. People don't believe that it can be done. People have been beaten up so much and so badly all their lives that when someone finally comes along and says, hey, I have an idea on how you can take your life back. You don't have to be a slave anymore to the bank. I'm offering you a way out. And then they don't believe it. And then they're too fearful to even try.
Yeah.
So they're just going to let the banks keep beating them. They don't get it. If you don't trade and invest, right, then you don't understand. They're going to trade and invest you. So
Big
by
time.
trading and investing, you're taking a portion of that back. You're taking a portion of what they're stealing from you back. They're stealing your wages. They're stealing your time and your energy. And now you have an opportunity to flip the script and take some of that back. You're a fool if you don't. Why would you not? So you're just going to sit back, do nothing, and allow the system to keep raping you and pillaging from you, taking from your hard labor, because that's what the system is designed to do. Take from your hard labor. Every day you get up and you go to work. Who are you working for? You're working for the bank. If you have a mortgage or you have a loan
for the first
on
4 months
cars
of every year, and Dex, for the first 4 months of every year, you're working for the Fed for free.
Yes. Yes, you are. So why not go into their system, which is i.e. Wall Street, and take back what belongs to you? They're trading you like cattle every day on Wall Street. You mentioned it at the beginning of the program. It was either you or you know I'm bad with names. Dude, the producer, CJ. Yeah, I think you may have said it when we were talking. They're trading your Social Security number.
Yeah.
They're trading it every day that the Wall Street is open. They're trading your Social Security number, literally.
Yes, exactly.
So why not intervene in that and say, nah, you ain't gonna get rich off of me without me getting a piece. Let me go in here and let me take some of this back. Oh, okay. I see y'all operating today in the NASDAQ. I think I want a piece of that. Oh, I see IBM's earnings are coming out. Oh, it looks like they're gonna beat. I think I want a piece of that. Oh, Microsoft. You know what? I see that stock is falling. It's not. It's like it's about to fall off a cliff. I'm gonna go ahead and sell that short or buy some put options because you know why? They just came out with a new computer system and it sucks. You know they owe me for Windows Me, and they owe me for Vista.
That was horrible.
They owe me. So let me go ahead and get some of my money back.
Yep.
That's basically what you are saying. That's basically what you are doing. When you enter into these quote unquote rigged markets, they're like that to keep you out. They want you to be so frustrated and so fearful that you won't even try. And meanwhile, every day that the market goes up, they're making millions off of you. And then here we are, we sit back and we do nothing. We get beaten up, raped, pillaged, plundered, and we don't even so much as give off a whimper.
Yep.
And to me, that is a travesty of mammoth proportions. And now here's the next thing that's going to hurt people. Now, okay, so you say, I don't know anything about the stock market. I'm afraid of it. I got hurt so many times. I'm not doing anything in stocks. I'm not trading commodity futures. I'm not trading forex. I'm not even getting involved in Bitcoin. I'm not even stacking gold and silver bars and coins. Okay, fine. Here's something that's going to hit you right between the eyes. Here's something that everyone needs, and that's water. Water is the new battle, and it's getting harder to find good, clean, pure water. And your bank is ready to sell it back to you. They're ready to buy up all the natural resources and sell it back to you at a premium. What are you going to do now? What you could do is say, you know what? I see what they're doing. Let me go in here and operate in this Illuminati sector and take back some control of my life. Oh, okay. Here we are entering the driving season. You know those gas prices are about to be jacked way up. So you know what? Let me go ahead. I would like to make money for every time I'm paying, money at the pump. I would like to get paid some of that. So how can you make it so that you get paid every time somebody fills up their gas tank? Why not go long the energy sector? Go long some of this crude oil and natural gas and unleaded. Why not go long? Why not buy some shares of that? And as the prices are being jacked up, so is your bank account. Now you're getting paid every time people fill up their tank. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
They don't want you playing in their sandbox, but there's a way for you to do it. And at some point in the future, water will be more expensive than gold. then what are you going to do? You're going to wish that you had taken sound advice.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy bricks of water. And I'm going to vault it in Singapore.
Yeah, there you go. See, you know what time it is. Look, we laugh, but we know what time it is. I'm telling you, this is the real stuff that people should be afraid of.
Yeah.
Not thermonuclear war, not economic collapse and crash. No, the real economic collapse is your bank account. That's the economic collapse you're not looking at. Look at that, because that's what's happening. We're already there. World War III thermonuclear warfare waged on you individually and directly and personally by taking away the jobs, taking away your ability to generate income for yourself and provide for yourself. That's what they're doing. They've already declared World War III on every individual with this whole globalization. So you're already there. You're already there. You're waiting for something to happen that's already happening to you. The government doesn't give a darn about you. Every day that comes out, they're proving it. They don't care about people. We bombed people and didn't think twice about it. Do you know how many innocent civilians were bombed recently? When Trump let that button fly, bombing Afghanistan. Come on, man. So many innocent women and children who do not have armaments, who are not waging war. They're just going about their daily lives, and then they get a bomb dropped on them. All right, that's what the government cares about, people. All right, they don't care about you.
But they're doing it for the children, Dex. They're doing it for the children.
Yeah, and all in the name of national security. Tell me, what national security was threatened when we dropped that bomb? All it is
the heroin trade, man. We don't want to lose the heroin trade.
We wasn't in jeopardy of losing nothing. We already own all of those opium fields over there in Afghanistan.
Exactly.
The truth of the matter is, we're butt hurt over this Kim Jong-un character over in North Korea. So we've decided we want to remove him from power.
Do not talk about the Instagram king like that. He is the Instagram king. I mean, have you seen his Instagram account? It is on fire, bro.
He's got I honestly want his haircut. I just want his haircut.
Hey, you know those marshmallow bunnies? You ever seen those marshmallow bunnies?
Yes.
If you squish them, they actually look like Kim Jong-un. A family member showed me that picture. It was the most funny thing I've ever seen. Literally, it looks like Kim Jong-un when you squish those marshmallow bunnies. It's hilarious.
But now here's a question.
Kim Jong-un's Instagram account. Let's talk about that for a second.
All right.
It's on fire. He's got so many followers. People cry before him, and he's driving around in his limousine with a huge picture of himself. I mean, his Instagram account is on fleek. Okay, it is on fleek, and his country has no internet. How do you explain that?
That's a good question. But here's another one. What is the difference between whatever it is that we're saying that he did to the people of North Korea, including
his own family member? There is nothing done to the people of North Korea that is not more heinous than what the CIA has done worldwide, what the U.S. has done worldwide. There's no.
So what he did to his father, brother, sister, mother, whatever.
His half brother.
Is that worse than what we did to our presidents?
Man, give me a break. That's nothing. What about us, pumping depleted uranium and using it in violation of the Geneva Accords in Iraq?
What about the Tuskegee experiment? Is that worse than the so-called chemical attack that was done?
Of course.
So so Assad, we claim gassed his people, but that's worse than the Tuskegee experiment. That's worse than us dropping gelatinous ooze on people in the Midwest.
Yep.
Okay. So that's worse than Obamacare.
Obamacare is wonderful, man. I love it.
Look, no matter what we say about other leaders, how dare we do that when the U.S. has done so much dirt at home and abroad? Who are we? How are we the moral police all of a sudden? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But yet, that's the narrative that they've put out. They want to tell you that everyone else is the devil, ISIS, and all these other
You mean uses?
places. And let's assume.
Let's not talk about uses.
Well, let's say they're violent. Let's say they are violent. Let's say they do want to.
They want to spread love. That's all it is, man.
But let me get this straight. So we go overseas, bomb countries, bring in central banking, and all these other economic horrors. The people rise up, become freedom fighters, fighting this occupation.
Yeah,
an invasion, foreign invasion, and then we label them bad guys.
No.
ISIS and everything
that would be too easy. We don't do that. What we do is when we have the opposition rise up against us, we create a terror proxy group that completely destabilizes the whole area, screws everything up. That's what we do. We're the Lords of Chaos, bro.
Unbelievable. But yet we call everyone else the boogeyman. And we say war on terror. How is it a war on terror when you're the terrorist?
Well, you saw the movie John Wick.
Yes, I did see that.
Awesome. You saw that scene when the Russian mob's son is like, yeah, we beat the crap out of this guy and we killed his dog and we took his '67 Mustang. And the Russian mobster's like, and whose car did you take? Did you take it from this guy named John Wick? Yeah. Well, who cares? And then the Russian guy whispers, his name is Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. He goes, no, he's not the boogeyman. He's the one you call when you want to kill the effing boogeyman.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, now we might be the boogeyman on the world stage, but I promise you, there is a badass power out there. There is somebody out there who can kill the boogeyman. Okay, so and that's why it's important that we need to know our role on the world stage a little bit before we start running into things, man.
I really do think so. But look, like I said, we should all be encouraged because we already know what's coming. We already know what they're doing. We know the game plan. We're able to peep the screenplay. So because of that, we should be able to know how to position ourselves to take advantage of things. And that's all I'm saying. Why not? Why just let things happen to you when you can play the offensive for a while? Instead of just being on the defensive. Because I see that's what the average American is, always on the defensive.
We got to stop being reactionary. That's the first thing we need to stop doing. And be more proactive, which is something that a lot of us don't do.
Correct.
We're just sitting around waiting for things to happen, man. It's got to stop. It's the same situation you're always going to be in.
It's not going to change until we change it. And people talking about revolution, and ain't no revolution. If you're too lazy to take your own personal finances and future into your own hands, you are sure enough ain't gonna rise up against nothing. And marching is not gonna change a thing.
So if you're gonna be rectally sodomized by the financial powers, and you're fine with that, and you got no fire in your belly to do whatever it takes to hide as much as you can, to make as much as you can, to give them as little as you can, you ain't rising up for nothing.
No.
Because let me tell you something. A man's ego is the size of his wallet. You show me how big your ego is, you can predicate that by how big your wallet is.
There you go.
It's God honest truth. Show me what you spend your money on, I'll show you what kind of person you are. Show me how much you're saving, what you're doing, I'll tell you exactly what kind of person you are. You broke, and you talk about revolution, you sit there, you don't educate yourself on financial means, you sit around just collecting paycheck to paycheck. You're not doing anything to improve yourself educationally, mentally, physically. Come on, give me a break. Most of these guys screaming for revolution are like out of shape dudes, like 300 some odd pounds sitting around, swilling beer on a lazy boy talking about revolution. Get that guy out of
here. Exactly. Get out of here with that. And it's funny because, even people who argue with me and say, no, I'm not playing the rig market. I'll invest in myself. What does that mean, invest in myself? So you're saying you have some type of marketable skill? Okay, that still makes you a slave.
Yeah.
We're talking about entrepreneur. We're talking about employing yourself. What business have you ever run successfully? How many people have you hired and paid living wages to? How many people can say they're financially better off because they have known you? If you can answer none of those above questions, then you have no hustle and no grind and no reason to even hope or think you could make a living off of running a business. You never run one. You wouldn't even hire yourself. There are people say, oh, I cook very well. I'm going to open up a restaurant. You may cook extremely well. You may be the baddest chef on the planet, but you never run a business, a successful. You know what? I think I'm going to open up a business and it's going to be successful. No, it doesn't work like that. And even if you were going to try to open a business, it takes capital. One of the number one reason why businesses fail is because they are undercapitalized.
Yep.
Undercapitalized. If you don't know how to run a business, you've never ran a successful business, what makes you think you can even do it? You have no grind. Most entrepreneurs start off being young entrepreneurs in childhood, teenage years, hustling and grinding. Okay? You don't just wake up in your 40s and 50s and say, I'm going to open up a bakery. No, it doesn't work like that. All right? It does not work like that. If you do not have hustle and grind in you, you ain't just going to grow it. If you don't have a heart now, you ain't just going to grow one. If you don't have no heart. Okay? People, listen to me under the sound of my voice. Have you even had a sales job where you work 100% commissions, no paid, you get no salary and no draw? If you've never worked a job like that,
and dude, it's the most freeing thing you'll ever do,
then you can't talk to me right now.
Yep. It's the most freeing thing you could do. 100% commission. There's nothing better.
Yep. I don't care if it's selling cars. I don't care if it's selling cell phones. I don't care what the fill in the blank what it's selling. Were you working? Were you hired in sales? Did you work sales and were you successful at it? If the answer is no, before you even try to even enter into the environment that we're talking about outside of the markets, you need to go get a sales job where you're making only 100% commissions. And don't give me, well, I have a family. I can't do that. I did it. I had a family too. All right. And my wife was a full-time mom and stayed home and raised the kids.
Yep.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I'll tell you what my comrade said to me. We had this discussion. We were talking about, how we had lost friends along the way because they all had, government jobs, whatever. And we were working commission jobs where there was no draw, none of that. And I'm going to quote to you what this is a young guy, what one of the young guys said. I said, so what's your take, with a paycheck type job versus, commissions? Would you take a job if someone offered it to you? I quote, I'm going to quote the young man. And I quote, I will punch somebody in the face they try to offer me a 9-to-5 job.
Yep.
End quote. So let me tell you.
So in other words, this guy would rather be free and work straight commission than 9-to-5 like a slave.
Yes, but see, he got hustle and grind. The young man was excellent at sales.
Yep.
And I'm talking about, if you have done this full time, folks, do not
and
think
you can develop that mentality, man. I mean, I've worked with guys who came in like wallflowers, and by the time they were done with our training program, these guys were like sharks. They were vicious.
Yes.
I had dudes by the second month, these guys would be on the phone. They'd be hammering out deals. They'd be calling up guys for investments, and they're like, "Hey, you know what?" The guys on the other line, man, I don't have any problems. I'm all good. And my guy, and I'm sitting there. I got my headset on. I'm sitting right next to the guy because I'm helping training the dude. And he's like, man, I'm not talking about problems. I don't know what to do about problems. Problems is like your son's gay and your daughter wants to grow up and play football. And those are problems. Now I don't know what to do about that. But what I know how to do is make some money. So grab your balls, let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's at. What I'm trying to say, I hate sales. Don't get it twisted. I loathe sales.
Yeah.
All right. But I had to do it because guess what? If you don't sell and believe in yourself, no one else is going to either. And I'll tell you this, the best salespeople in the world, in my opinion, are those that are able to push a great product with a competitive price backed up by excellent customer service. You take the baddest salespeople on the planet, man, no one will be able to touch them if you give them a superior product with a competitive price backed by great customer service. I'm telling you, it's on and popping. So I'm not putting no one down. I want to encourage people listening to us right now, because I get that a lot. No, I'm not going to do the markets. I'm just going to invest in myself. What does that mean? Are you saying you want to stay a wage slave? Are you going to invest in yourself? You're going to go to school, get it, and go back to school and get an advanced degree? Or are you saying you're going to start a business? Is that what you mean by investing in yourself? How much money do you have? Have you done a business plan? Do you have a business model? Do you know how are you going to compete against your competitors in that space? Are you operating in a space that's oversaturated, in a market that's oversaturated? I mean, there's so many different variables that come into this. And at the end of the day, you don't just want to be another person doing what someone else is doing because it makes money. The question is, how do you add value? There's a million people on the planet right now that are lawyers and doctors and auto mechanics and HVACs and on and on and on. What makes you set apart from the rest? How are you different? All right. And if you have a skill like that, a marketable skill like that, instead of making someone else rich, you make yourself rich, because at the end of the day, there's only two options. Either you're going to make someone else a lot of money or make yourself a lot of money. If you go to work a 9-to-5 job, understand you're only getting a pittance of what you're making the company. All right, you got to understand that. So you're going to make someone else rich, or you're going to make yourself rich, and there's no middle ground. So if you have a marketable skill, fine, go ahead and you can come up with a business plan and you can start a business. All right, but if you have no hustle and no grind, you've never worked a day in your life where you got no salary and no base, no draw, and did that successfully and made a living off of that, then you really don't have anything to go on as far as talking about you're going to start some business. No, you're not, because you have no drive in you to do that. So I'm encouraging those individuals to learn how to invest in other people by way of these markets. When you buy a stock, you're investing in someone else's idea, and you're benefiting from that. When you stack gold and silver, all right, you are investing in yourself, but you're also investing in someone else vis-a-vis. You're saying, okay, in effect, I see there's a possibility of inflation. There's possibility of financial calamities. Therefore, I am going to put my money in assets that usually are recession-proof, if you will. All right. So again, that goes back to economics and finance. You can be a genius in making hamburgers, but if you don't know how to sell hamburgers, you're in trouble. I just want to get that point across to people, because I think people live in a la-la land, and they think that certain things will never happen to them or come to their doorstep. And then when it comes, they're ill prepared.
Yep.
You can have all the food and water stored up. All right. So if the grocery store is closed today, you could live 10 years. That's great. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about generating income that is depression and recession and stagflation proof. How can you do this if you do not utilize the tools that are before you? That's all I'm saying. Postwavetrading.com.
That's it.
Educate yourself.
That's it. And again, if you don't have those skills, you can always develop them. I mean, guys like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Ivan Thorne, the 9 Laws. I mean, there's so many. I mean, let's start listening to podcasts on motivation. You got to keep on top of your game. If you don't perfect your craft, if you're not about improving yourself on a day-to-day basis, then you're gone. That's just the bottom line. You're of no use to no one, let alone your family. With that being said, guys, we're over and out. Follow us on Rogue Money at the Rogue Money on Twitter, as well as roguemoney.net and Rogue Money Facebook. With that being said, CJ, take it away, my man.